The starship Elysium drifted silently through the void, its engines humming faintly as it orbited the uncharted planet designated X-427. Captain Elias Voss stood on the observation deck, his hands clasped behind his back, staring at the swirling emerald and cobalt hues of the planet below. It was beautiful, almost hypnotic, but Elias felt a gnawing unease in the pit of his stomach. The mission was supposed to be simple: survey the planet for potential colonization and gather data on its ecosystem. But something about X-427 felt wrong. "Captain," a voice interrupted his thoughts. It was Dr. Lyra Tanis, the ship's chief xenobiologist. She approached him, her tablet in hand, her expression a mix of excitement and apprehension. "We've detected unusual energy signatures from the surface. They're organic, like nothing we've ever seen before." Elias turned to her, his sharp blue eyes narrowing. "Organic energy signatures? That doesn't make sense." "I know," Lyra replied, her voice trembling slightly. "But the readings are consistent. There's something down there, Captain. Something alive, and it's calling to us." Elias frowned. "Calling to us?" Lyra hesitated, then nodded. "The signals are faint, but they're deliberate. It's almost like a song. I can't explain it, but I feel drawn to it. Like it's beckoning us to come closer." Elias's unease deepened. He had learned to trust his instincts over the years, and every fiber of his being was screaming at him to turn the ship around and leave X-427 far behind. But he couldn't. The mission came first. "Prepare a landing party," he ordered. "We're going down." The surface of X-427 was unlike anything Elias had ever seen. The air was thick with a sweet, almost cloying scent, and the ground was covered in bioluminescent flora that pulsed with a faint, otherworldly glow. The sky above was a swirling tapestry of colors, as if the planet itself were alive. Elias led the team through the dense jungle, their boots sinking into the soft, spongy ground. The energy signatures were growing stronger, guiding them deeper into the heart of the planet. The team was silent, their nerves on edge, their weapons at the ready. Even the usually talkative Lyra was quiet, her eyes darting nervously around. After hours of trekking, they reached a massive cavern, its entrance shrouded in vines that seemed to writhe and twist as if alive. The energy signatures were emanating from within. "This is it," Lyra whispered, her voice barely audible. "The source is inside." Elias nodded, his grip tightening on his pulse rifle. "Stay close. We don't know what we're dealing with." The cavern was vast, its walls lined with the same bioluminescent plants that covered the surface. The air was thick with the same sweet scent, but now it was almost overwhelming, making Elias's head swim. As they ventured deeper, the cavern opened up into a massive chamber, and what they saw made them freeze in their tracks. In the center of the chamber was a throne made of what appeared to be living crystal, its surface shimmering with an ethereal light. And on that throne sat her. She was unlike anything Elias had ever seen. Her skin was a deep, iridescent blue, her hair a cascade of silver tendrils that seemed to float around her as if suspended in water. Her eyes were large and luminous, glowing with an inner light that seemed to pierce straight through him. She was beautiful, but in a way that was utterly alien, utterly terrifying. The alien queen. She rose from her throne, her movements graceful and deliberate, and Elias felt a wave of dizziness wash over him. Her presence was overwhelming, as if she were radiating some kind of psychic energy that was pulling him in, drawing him closer. "Welcome, Captain Voss," she said, her voice a melodic whisper that echoed in his mind. "I have been waiting for you." Elias's heart pounded in his chest. How do you know my name? The queen smiled, a slow, predatory smile that sent a shiver down his spine. I have known you for a long time, Elias. Longer than you can imagine. You were always meant to come here. You were always meant to be mine. Elias took a step back, his pulse rifle raised. I don't know what you're talking about. Stay back. The queen's smile widened, and she took a step forward, her movements impossibly smooth. You cannot fight this, Elias. You cannot fight me. You belong to me. You always have. Elias's finger tightened on the trigger, but before he could fire, a wave of psychic energy slammed into him, knocking the rifle from his hands and sending him to his knees. The rest of the team cried out, clutching their heads as the queen's power overwhelmed them. Elias struggled to rise, but the queen was already in front of him, her hand reaching out to caress his face. Her touch was cold, but it sent a jolt of electricity through him, making his breath catch in his throat. You feel it, don't you? She whispered, her voice a soft, seductive purr. The connection between us. It has always been there, waiting to be awakened. Elias's mind was a whirlwind of confusion and fear, but beneath it all, he felt something else, a strange, inexplicable pull toward her. It was as if some part of him recognized her, as if she were a part of him that had been missing his entire life. Who are you? He gasped, his voice barely a whisper. The queen's eyes softened, and for a moment she looked almost human. I am your destiny, Elias. I am the other half of your soul. And now, at last, we are together. Elias wanted to resist, to fight back, but he couldn't. Her presence was too powerful, her pull too strong. He felt himself being drawn into her, his mind merging with hers, his very essence becoming one with hers. The last thing he saw before the darkness took him was her face, her luminous eyes filled with a love that was as terrifying as it was beautiful. When Elias awoke, he was lying on the soft, spongy ground of the cavern, the queen's throne looming above him. He felt different. His mind was clearer, sharper, but there was something else, something new. He could feel her presence in his mind, a constant, comforting hum that filled him with a sense of peace he had never known. The queen was sitting on her throne, watching him with those luminous eyes. Welcome back, my love, she said, her voice a soft, melodic whisper. Elias sat up, his head spinning. What did you do to me? The queen smiled. I have made you whole, Elias. You were always meant to be mine, and now, at last, you are. Elias's heart ached with a strange, bittersweet longing. He knew deep down that she was right. He had always been searching for something he could never quite name. And now he had found it.